Discord. Ever since he made his first appearance in the Season 2 premiere, Discord has been the subject of so much speculation. He's just this giant mystery begging to be solved. What is he? How did he come to be? And if there's one thing that's consistent through all these theories made about him, it's that we don't really know. Well, unless they get disproven, like the good old Star Swirl equals Discord theory. You know, the one where Star Swirl the Bearded accidentally turned himself into Discord. For longtime viewers, you know I defended this theory till the bitter end. I would have loved for Discord to be the result of some magic experiment gone wrong. But perhaps he still might be. What if Star Swirl didn't become Discord, but rather created Discord, like Frankenstein's monster? A talented sorcerer such as himself is bound to have made some mistakes. There's an obvious appeal to this theory. It also fits in nicely with my headcanon that Star Swirl invented the alicorn by combining magic from all three tribes. After the success of that, it only makes sense that he'd take it to the next logical step, combining magic from different species. Of course, this wouldn't have gone quite as well. Unlike the other theory, this one is still possible. But as fun as that idea is, it doesn't make much sense from a timeline perspective. Discord didn't enter the scene until the Royal Sisters, as well as the Tree of Harmony, were all fully grown. That's Discord's first known appearance in the timeline. Now, Star Swirl's last appearance in the timeline, before vanishing to Limbo, was when the Tree of Harmony had just been planted. We know the sisters were much shorter at the time too. So a lot of growing happened between Star Swirl's last appearance and Discord's first. That seems to disconnect Discord from Star Swirl altogether. You could say that Star Swirl created Discord before Limbo, but that asks more questions than it answers. If this is the case, where was Discord during the period between his creation and his conquering of Equestria? How did Star Swirl deal with him? Why didn't it last? Too many details unaccounted for just for him to have been the result of Star Swirl's experimentations. Discord's timeline before this point, if he has one, is completely unknown, so each detail we add before this is a new assumption. That's why I'm hesitant to subscribe to that theory. So let's talk about a new one, a fresh theory based on the most recent episodes that's been gaining some traction. This one poses that at the center of Discord's origin story is not Star Swirl the Bearded, but someone who may be just as old, if not older. And that person is Grogar. Though he seems to be all but forgotten by modern ponies, Grogar is infamous among the villains, Sombra revering him as the first emperor of Equestria, the father of monsters. Watching this episode, the next line that Grogar spoke blew my mind. I gave life to the foulest of creatures and allowed them to run wild, taking what they wanted and destroying the rest. My reign was a glorious, fear-soaked epoch of darkness in Equestria. As I heard those words, I could feel the excitement rising as the connection started forming in my head. When he's describing his reign of monsters, we see three distinct creatures become a single, horrifying amalgamation. Almost all the monsters we've seen in the show are combinations that can be split into their component parts and fused back together. The Bugbear, Chimera, Cockatrice. What if these were the foul creatures that Grogar made, sewing together bits and pieces of previously existing animals into new, terrifying forms? And then it hit me like a load of bricks. What if one of those creatures was Discord? Everything was adding up, so I got ready to make a new video, scrambling together my thoughts. But then, I was running some ideas by local Draconicus expert Event Horizon when he said something like, "You saw Dr. Wolf's video too?" And that's when I realized that someone else beat me to the chase. But maybe I'd still have something to add to the theory, enough to warrant its own video? No, Dr. Wolf covered everything, and even took the concept further into really fascinating applications I hadn't thought of. I recommend watching it, but there goes that video idea. He couldn't have known, but I feel like that was revenge for the one time I impersonated him. So there I was, having just hit that brick wall, still wanting to add something to the conversation. This got me to dig deeper, but the more I searched, the more inconsistencies I found with the Grogar theory. I guess it wasn't true after all. It was then that I vowed that if I can't have this theory, then neither can Dr. Wolf. No, but seriously, I did want to challenge him with what I found, so I ran it by Dr. Wolf. First of all, without magic, the Tartarus monsters split into their base components. Discord had his magic taken away before, and yet he stayed in one piece. So if Grogar created monsters by stitching together parts of already existing creatures, Discord could not have been one of those. Then Dr. Wolf replied by pointing out that the Tartarus monsters gave their magic willingly, while Discord's was forcefully ripped out. His solution is that some magic can only be surrendered, not taken by force, likening it to the Espers in Final Fantasy III. But here's the thing, there's no in-show precedent for this principle, and even if there was, T-Rex willingly gave his magic, just like the other creatures, but he didn't split into a horse and a... into a horse and a... and... but he didn't split into any components. Nailed it. This tells us that a mix such as a centaur can already be a base form. I mean, just look at griffins or hippogriffs. This world is full of hybrids, and I doubt most of them would split into parts if stripped of their magic. Don't get me wrong, there's something to the fact that the Tartarus monsters did separate, and that may point to a special creation by Grogar. We just have no reason to lump Discord in with those. In fact, the evidence is for this already being Discord's base form. That's what I ran by Dr. Wolf next. When Discord stopped acting chaotic, his physical body started to literally fade away. This tells us that he's not an amalgamation of previously existing things. He's a single physical manifestation of chaos, depending only on chaos to exist. Like Fluttershy said, you're a creature of pure chaos. Being normal is destroying you. Dr. Wolf replied to this one by theorizing that the fading away may have been a failsafe set in place by Grogar. If the purpose of Grogar's monsters was to force submission by spreading terror and fear, he could motivate those monsters to keep doing their job under threat of fading away. His full responses can be found in the second part of his series on the matter. But this reply doesn't add up either, because Grogar's purpose didn't need chaos. You can spread fear and terror with chaos, Discord certainly did later, but you can just as well spread fear and terror with an iron fist of order. So if Grogar did set a failsafe in place, it would have kicked in when the monsters stopped spreading darkness, not when they stopped spreading chaos, and Discord would have faded away long ago once he reformed. Besides, we've seen that Discord doesn't even need a body to exist or even spread chaos. He just needs, well, chaos, which is undeniably his purest essence. Now, I have one last problem with the theory that Grogar created Discord. It's that it leaves a huge unexplained gap in Discord's timeline, just like the theory that Star Swirl created Discord, but even worse. To get a timeline going, we have our first confirmed instance of Discord. This came long enough after the Tree of Harmony was planted for it to have been full grown. Now using Tyrek as a reference, he must have come to Equestria when the pillars were still around, because his brother Scorpan befriended Star Swirl. Tyrek was already full grown at the time, so go all the way back to when he was young, and this is when he only heard tales of Grogar's tyranny. He even thought they were just legends, so the actual events may have occurred even before that. Regardless, Grogar's reign was long, long ago, and if Discord was part of that, where has he been? Where was he between then and his first known appearance? Was he dealt with in some way? Banished? Weakened? By who? For how long? This theory leaves so much to be desired for Discord's timeline. Again, as fun and full of story potential as those theories are, and full props to Dr. Wolf, I just don't find them convincing. But this video isn't just a list of all the ways Discord didn't come to be. Oh no, I have a few ideas myself. After talking with Dr. Wolf, I elected to set aside the Discord question for a while and focus on other aspects of the show. That resulted in this video, and it's a good thing, because a certain comment on that video helped me realize that surprisingly, these topics may be more closely connected than we thought. In the video, I was talking about how the Tree of Harmony was destroyed, and how the spirit of the Tree of Harmony used the Student 6 to build a replacement. Since the spirit can exist outside the tree or treehouse, I consider it its own thing. That's why I called it the Spirit of Harmony. And that's where that comment comes in. Spirit of Harmony and Spirit of Chaos. We got a yin-yang situation going on here. Now, at first I wrote this off as an amusing coincidence, that the show would have a Spirit of Harmony and a Spirit of Chaos. What are the odds of that? Pretty cool, right? But let's entertain the thought for a second. Basically, with yin and yang, opposites can't exist without each other. Heat can't exist without cold to compare it against, and cold can't exist without heat to compare it against. Opposites also give rise to each other. The darker a place is, the more power light has there. Now, let's see what happens when we start to view chaos and harmony as yin and yang, interdependent forces that are fundamentally connected. An increase on one side would be reflected onto the other side. Think about it like a balancing act. 6 ponies plant a seed that would become the most powerful source of harmony in the land. Discord necessarily arises as the chaotic reflection, the equal and opposite force. Look at the timing and things line up perfectly. This is the earliest known instance of the full-grown Tree of Harmony. And why are the sisters here? So that they can take the elements and fight the earliest known instance of Discord. Maybe the reason this is Discord's first known appearance is because this is the very beginning of Discord's timeline. His simple one-track minded naivety makes him seem young, like young. Maybe that's because the harmony from the tree had just pulled Discord into this world. Now, most of you have probably noticed that Discord didn't really bring balance though. He dragged the world into chaos and tipped the scales to his side. In fact, we haven't really seen much balance in the past at all. At first this might seem like a problem with the theory, but it's all part of the story. The forces of harmony and of chaos have a history of fighting against one another and one-upping each other. The very first thing we saw Discord try to do is destroy the Tree of Harmony by planting seeds of his own. Nice parallel. But it's not just him. The forces of harmony have been trying to completely do away with chaos as well, banishing Discord to stone. Chaos versus harmony has been a huge theme in MLP history, but it goes back even further. Sure, it's possible Discord came as a result of the Tree of Harmony, but we know for a fact that even the tree itself was planted partially to counteract the unbridled chaos of the Everfree Forest. To take things another step back, I wouldn't be surprised if the Yin Everfree Forest started growing in the first place to counteract the harmony from the Yang Friendship Fire, which was to counteract the Yin Wendigos, and basically this has been going on forever. Now hold up. The whole point of Yin and Yang is that opposites aren't supposed to be at odds. They're supposed to complement each other. Order without some chaos is dull, and chaos without some order is cacophony. Think about when something crazy messes up your schedule. It makes you appreciate the routine, but too much of that boring routine makes you appreciate the spontaneous. They need to cooperate, not dominate. And that is why Celestia asked the main six to free Discord and try to reform him. She must have realized that chaos doesn't mean evil. Anyone who's played Dungeons and Dragons knows that they're on different axes. And if you can get both opposites to coexist on the side of good, everyone will be happier and stronger because of it. That's what the past 5 seasons have been. The forces of chaos and of harmony on the same team. After an endless seesaw back and forth, finally, balance. I really like this theory of Discord's origin and purpose, not just because it matches his timeline, but because it tells a bigger story. Connecting parts of the lore we never considered might be related. And Discord is the best way to ultimately bring a conclusion to this. A force of chaos that understands a little harmony is important, who can see where chaos is needed and where it's not. For the most part. It's not to say tensions won't exist as both sides grow and evolve. In fact, watching Discord and the Spirit of Harmony interact would be a lot of fun. All that really matters is that they're finally allowing each other to do their jobs. But what do you guys think? Are chaos and harmony fundamentally connected? How do you think Discord came to be? Leave your thoughts in the comments. We're halfway through the 9th and final season of Friendship is Magic, so we're either gonna get our answers soon or never. Hopefully the former, but in the meantime, I'll be reading your comments. This has been the Burning Ocean, signing out until next time.